Well, I'm getting a little bit of communication with people having pause and concern. And of course, my advice is just to stay the course, because the fundamentals of the markets, the fundamentals of what we call sound money hasn't changed. I am amazed, though. I am literally appalled and amazed how that people are so easily coerced and manipulated in their mind when things doesn't work a certain way. When they do not work a certain way, people all of a sudden start falling off the deep end. Patience is a virtue that needs to be exercised. And of course, here in America, we have, we're this microwave generation. We want everything, and we wanted it yesterday. And then the satisfaction of it wears off, a few days? And then next thing you know, your spirit, it lusts after something else. And then you begin to get driven, trying to fulfill some void that you have in your heart. And then you obtain it. And then you're empty again. And so all this buying and all this selling and stuff is doing nothing but creating a state of spiritual depression, because you can't buy your happiness and you can't buy your way out of the wickedness of this world. So therefore, you have to change the way that you think, the way you perceive, and the way that you go about viewing things. Because if you don't change it, you're going to find it very, very difficult for you to cope with what's coming down the pipe. The reason why I'm here and other people are here is to inform you, because I understand that our government is not for us. Do you understand that? You may not understand it. The news media, we do not have a free press in this country. If we had a free press in this country, how come we don't never hear much in Yahoo Finance News, CNNBC, Fox Business? Why are they mute when it comes to the Cyprus situation over there? Well, I'm going to tell you the reason why. They want to continue to make you think that everything is going fine and everything is going well over here in this country. And what they're not reporting to you, I'm going to report to you. They jacked Cyprus. They jacked all of the depositors, which are nothing more than creditors. And you need to know that here in this country. You hold your money in the bank. Are you following me? It's not your money. It is not your money. Oh, yeah, it is, Pastor. No, it is not. It is not your money. It's not your money unless you have it in your hand, in your home, with your access, and access where you can get to it. They have deceived you and put fear. Everything works by fear, into thinking that if you hold it in your home, that it's not safer in your home than it is in the bank. They deceived you. And they use this fear all of the time. And you should be fearful of the banks, especially when you understand what's going on. This raping, this robbing, this murdering, this pillage. Look what they just did to Cyprus. Most of you cannot look at Cyprus because you don't know. You do not know, so therefore your dissidence remains the same. You continue to keep functioning the same way. And you're going to be destroyed for lack of knowledge. Even if you choose to stick your head in the sand and ignore the situation, especially finance, you're finished. You're done for. You're over with. You might as well just go ahead and get ready to suffer. And I just got finished reading 4 or 5 emails this morning of people who wish they had taken my advice, and they didn't. And now they can't cope in life, and everything is going awry, and they haven't positioned themselves. They haven't tried to downgrade their life to live simple, live normal. They're still trying to live like they're back in the 80s and the 90s, and it's just utterly ridiculous. But I can tell you right now that the news media is not for you, and that's therefore the mainstream. Therefore, you need to stop listening to them. You need to start listening to people that's going to help bring about change in your life. That's what you need to do. Because you continue to keep doing the same things you've always done, you're not going to change. I mean, I'll give you an example with the silver and gold situation. Sure, prices look deceptively low, and they are deceptively low. As a matter of fact, you need to go buy up all that you can. Now, that's crazy, because you know how Americans are wired. Americans don't buy until prices start going up. And I just cannot understand that philosophy for the life of me. I cannot understand the perspective. I do not know why that when things start going up, everybody rushes to the bank to go get money, to go buy sound money, real money. And then when prices dip, they go sell it, and they don't want to buy it. I just don't understand it. If you can figure it out, you need to let me know, because that kind of chaotic behavior is insanity to me. I just don't get it whatsoever at all. I do not get it. But over in Cyprus, the country's jacked. All the European nations are jacked because of this stupid euro that they all have opted into, and they're trying to get Germany to prop it up. See, you don't know that they turned around and they jacked all the depositors. They just stole the money right out of their account. And guess what? Since it's not against the law, that's what they tell you. There's no crime committed. And so we got the same thing going on here in America. You know, the U.S. Mint cannot produce enough slugs in order to stamp out enough eagles in order to satisfy the demand that the American public is now starting to have. I'll give you another example. See, and you're not going to see this in your mainstream news media. George Soros, this controller, this manipulator, this devil of a dog, he turns around and cashes totally out of GLD and takes physical delivery of gold. Why is that not plastered all over CNNBC, Fox Business, and Yahoo News? Why? Why come you don't know about it? Why are they not telling you about it? You know why? Because this is a rich against the poor. And they want you to be found weighed in the balances. They want you to be suffering while the rich continue to keep living their plush lives. And it's the rich that have the insider trader secrets and deals. That's how they get rich. There's not an honest billionaire on the face of this planet Earth. Not one. Very few honest millionaires. These people have learned how to bow down to the god of money. And I'm just trying to teach you how to preserve your purchasing power. I'm teaching you how to preserve your dinner table. I'm teaching you how to preserve your wealth. So you don't see me on here making all these videos, because if you want to know the gold and silver, the economics, the market and stuff, I've got hundreds of videos that you can go back in the archives and look at. I just don't talk about it much no more, because what do you say to people who are hard-headed? What do you say? And then when things all of a sudden start going the way that you've been telling them, then they want to come and tell you what they should have done. Over in Europe, there are bank runs going on right now, and the media is totally hush about it. I'm telling you right now in America, before they start passing laws and before they start closing up these banks, you need to go ahead. If you only keep the amount of money in the bank that you are willing to lose. Did you hear what I said? You keep enough money in there for living expenses and things you need to buy and things you need to get. That's it. And if you're not willing to lose it, you better get it out, because the FDIC cannot insure. You know, I was listening to Greg Hunter the other day. How in the world, and I want to see if you people understand these type of fundamentals. The FDIC is supposed to be some type of insured creditor's deposit. You hear that? In other words, if you have under $250,000 in the bank, you're supposed to be able to be insured. If the bank somehow goes bad or something like that, you're supposed to be able to get your money because it's insured by the FDIC. I wonder how in the world that the FDIC has a bank account. I'm going to try to put this simple so that the simple man can understand. Because there's more of us poor people, there's more of us middle class people than there are rich people. And the rich people make their money off our backs. That's how the rich people do. The rich people make their money off of marketing, advertising, and deceiving the working class people or a W-2 earner. They make money off us. And they make their advancements by deceiving us while they continue to keep lining their pockets. I'm for you, the poor people. And I'm trying to tell you what you need to do in order to not be deceived by the rich. The FDIC has only $33 billion in their account to insure every single deposit of all the Americans that have money in the bank. The Americans that have money in the bank, according to Mr. Hunter's assessments, is that there's $10 trillion, $800 million that is in the bank. Now, you suppose that just half of Americans decide they're not going to play this banking game no more, they're taking their money out. You're looking at $5 trillion, $400 million. And you understand that? Do you understand? 400 million. Do you understand that? Do you understand those kind of numbers? Do you understand those kind of numbers? The FDIC cannot insure 5,400,000,000 with just $33 billion. No, excuse me. 5,400,000,000,000. I get all mixed up when you start dealing with billions and trillions, and to me it's all French. I'm telling you. But so excuse me, let me make that correction right there. I'm sure some of you caught it and couldn't wait to just jump on me and say, Pastor, no, you were wrong. But it's okay. I'm a human. Have mercy on me. So we have a system entrenched and set up that is lying to you from the word go, from the get-go. That's why I pray all the time and constantly that I can speak words that can be easily understood by the common folk on the street, because if it wasn't for you, none of these companies, none of these corporations would exist. None of them would. They're just like in our country. We have a police force, so-called law enforcement that's just gone rogue. But if the people decided to not join the force no more, decided there wasn't going to be police officers no more, then we wouldn't have to worry about the system then, would we? But because some people don't care, they have no convictions whatsoever in law, no righteousness. They don't care if they can step on you or step over you to get to where they needed to go, regardless of what the price is. They don't care how wicked it is. They will step on you to do it. I don't function after that. You got the billionaires taking physical delivery. They're not playing the GLD. They're not playing the SLV. Over in Cyprus, after they jacked all the depositors, literally just stole their money, then they demanded the physical gold from that country. Hugo Chavez, before he died, already asked for all of his physical gold back. Germany asked for all their physical gold back from the United States of America. And you know what America told Germany? And you need to keep on being reminded of this. We'll give it back to you in 7 years. If we had it, wouldn't we give it? Why we have to wait till 7 years? And Germany doesn't have a plea or cry or problem with America giving it back in 7 years. And they better not either. Because they remember the last whooping and the blitzkrieg we went and put up on them. And that's how gangsters operate. I don't understand why people want to continue to keep trying to function with these type of people. It's just beyond me. We have banks out to sea that are dead. And they're waiting to be washed up to shore. You can't see them. Some of them are starting to come into vision. Banks are failing every month in this country, every single month. But you don't hear about it because they don't want a bank run in this country. They don't want us little people, because there are more of us than it is of them, to actually start making a run on the bank. And the run on the bank is getting our money out because they cannot function unless they have us. Because there's more of us poor folk and middle class folk than there is rich folk. I keep trying to tell you folks that. Learn how to grow food. Learn how to live simple. Because when it's all said and done, including, and you don't take financial advice from your family members who are still tens of thousands of dollars in debt. You can't take financial advice from them because they don't even have their life together. You're going to thank me one day that you had the ears to hear and you started making moves. And you're going to thank me for having the ears to be able to hear, to buy a little plot of land and putting a trailer on it and being content. Because there are people out there sitting in these homes right now. Can you imagine paying $1,700 a month in mortgage and then you lose your job and you've been paying on that thing for what, 25 years, 30 years, 25 years, 30 years? And now all of a sudden you can't meet your obligation. You know what the bank's going to do? They're going to take it. And they still have their asset. So all you did was pay rent for 25 years. And you call it your home. And they have deceived you into believing that you are a home owner. That's how we talk in this country, using deceptive terms. You don't own anything as long as you're still paying payments on it. And the only reason why we have our land is because of the good graces of the king, if I can use those terms. Because all he has to do is continue to keep raising taxes. That's why you need gold and silver in your hand, because our system is getting to the point now. Look at all these gold and look at all these silver. Now they're taking silver. Look at all these places popped up. They're not selling you gold and silver. They will buy your gold and silver. And they could get you convinced. Get rid of that junk that's just laying in there and come and get some real cash, real money for it, huh? Unless you have somebody that's going to speak to your conscience and speak to you truth, coming, speaking to you to words easy to understand, you're not going to have an avenue to think any different. I believe it too. I told you, in the 80s, silver was going up, and then it had a hard hit down. And then it stayed down for a year or two, maybe 3. But I do know this, it went up, 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 up. Gold did, and silver did. And then what were we? $4 or $5 trillion in debt? If that much? No, $2 trillion. $2 trillion in debt. Now we're $17 trillion in debt, not including unfunded liabilities, which put us at a whopping $200 trillion in debt. This debt can't be paid back, not even by the world. Even if everybody decided to go to work and give their paychecks to this government stuff, it still can't be paid back. Well, we have a system of gangsters, a make-believe system. Have you noticed a trend is going on now, though? If you try to take cash somewhere, let's say $1,000, $2,000 cash, people start looking at you like you crazy. They call the greenbacks or the dollar real money, but even in Walmart, you give them $100 bill, boy, they have trained the cashiers, man. They analyze, they look at, they put it up to the, try to make sure it's real money. I often chuckle, because if I showed them a piece of silver, they snub up their nose at me. You know why? Because it's not the accepted medium of exchange, but it's coming. It's coming. It is coming. And they think them greenbacks are real dollars. I tell you what, you gotta clap your hands for the literal dumbing down that they've done of us here in this country. I mean, it is ugly. I'm appalled. I am literally appalled. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay out here in the country and continue to keep growing my own food, raising my own chickens with my brothers and sisters here. I'm going to live a quiet and peaceable life. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to position myself so I can eat and so I can live a peaceable life. That's what I'm going to do. And it would do you well to do the same things. You have to understand. When I started doing this, I get called all kind of names simply because I preach. Not that people physically know me, because they don't. I get called all kind of names simply because I preach. I don't care. They call me whatever they want, but the ones who call me the names are the ones who are deceived and the ones who are the liars, who will not go and check out what I'm saying to see if it's so. And I know it's painful. Who wants to believe that your religion, your mama and your daddy, your government, the whole system has all lied to you ever since you fell out of your mama? Who wants to believe that? Who wants to believe that? So naturally, all those people who are in cahoots and who are in cahoots together, naturally they all want to actually talk about me, because they don't want your mind to be opened up to actually look into what I'm saying, because you may use your mind and you may hear what I'm saying and you may start to see the light. You may begin to come out of the matrix and you may begin, Then you know what's going to happen? All those who have lived under deception and pulled the wool over your eyes all these years, they are the ones that suspect, and they are the liars, and they're the ones you really truly need to be watching. That's why I got myself out here in the open, so I can be a punching bag for every ignorant person out there. That's right. Well, I think I said enough about that and rant and rave for a little while. Just talking to the common folks. Listen, you got your money in the bank, it ain't yours. It ain't yours unless you got it in your hand and you can actually get to it yourself. Relative journalism. That's what we're talking about here today. How long are you going to continually to be deceived? You need to ask yourself that question, especially those of you who are my age. You got little ones, children that are behind you. They don't know how wicked this world is. And whether they can articulate it or not, they are depending upon you to make the right choices for them. The rich make the right choices for their little wicked brats. You better start waking up and start considering the fact that those little ones coming behind you, you don't want that belly hitting that spine.